Basketball season is just one day away. Megan Caffrey with you here as I welcome you into Fast Break, the Big East Women's Basketball newest show. There is so much to get into today, including an interview with the Big East preseason player of the year, Seton Hall Shadeen Samuels. You'll also get to hear from the two newest faces in the league as our John Fanta sat down with Marquette's Megan Duffy and Xavier's Melanie Moore. However, first, we start on the main line, where Villanova head coach Harry Perretta announced his retirement at the end of this season. Coach Perretta will go into his 42nd and final year at the helm of the Wildcats, and he has had quite the run as you look at the list of accomplishments that Coach Perretta has had, including 11 NCAA tournament appearances, 11 WNIT berths, 3 Big East tournament titles, 2 Big East regular season titles, and Villanova AD Mark Jackson said Coach Perretta is truly irreplaceable. And one of the fun things that I think of when you look at Coach Perretta's run is that he has coached 3 mother-daughter combos, including 2 of which are on the team now, Mary Gadeka being one of them. And he has created such a legacy over his time with the Wildcats, and it's exciting for him to have one final year to experience all the fun that Big East play has to come. The Wildcats going into just another exciting season with Harry Perretta at the helm. Now, as we turn and look at the preseason coaches poll, the DePaul Blue Demons were picked the favorite of the league again this season. They're coming off their 4th Big East tournament title in the last 6 seasons. Coach Bruno just coming to, when you think of him, it comes to mind consistency is what you think of Coach Bruno. They finished last season 26-8 overall, and they of course had the Big East tournament MVP Chanté Stonewall. And then when you take a look at number 2 and 3, what sticks out to me here is that these two teams, St. John's and Seton Hall, were tied at 8th in the conference last season. They come in the 2nd and 3rd favorite. St. John's, just the 3rd time in 6 years the Red Storm has been picked 2nd in the preseason poll. And then, of course, Seton Hall does have the preseason player of the year, Shadeen Samuels, which we'll hear from in just a few minutes. However, let's turn back to the DePaul Blue Demons. When you think of them, it's just consistency that they've been able to graduate seniors year after year and end in the top of the league. And we're able to hear what makes DePaul so special from seniors Chanté Stonewall and Kelly Campbell.
Team definitely has a lot of goals this year. Winning the Big East 3 times in a row, Big East tournament 3 times in a row would be huge for us. But we also want to win the conference outright, so that would be really nice as well. And then personally, making it to the Sweet 16 has always been a huge goal of mine. And a few years back, we were just a possession or 2 short, so that would be huge for us.
I believe that we can go as far as we want to. Only thing honestly stopping us is us. We have some very large goals to accomplish this year, but to be in the Big East and go through all of its adjustments historically, we have had so much success. So our job this year for this team is to continue that success and have a great season.
Playing for DePaul definitely has a huge tradition. Coach Bruno has a legacy himself of 17 straight NCAA tournaments, so putting on the DePaul jersey has definitely been a dream for me. I've always wanted to play at the highest level. It's been a huge goal of mine, and it means a lot. It means putting in work every day to keep that tradition, and I think that's definitely something we strive for, to maintain Coach Bruno's tradition and DePaul's tradition as well.
Of course, Bruno has so many sayings. One of my favorites that I honestly take into every game is that he always preaches every game has a life of its own. You never know what's going to be in that particular game. So something that he mentioned to us in the beginning of the season is every season has a life of its own. And so it's our job to write our journey. We go off to sail. We have this little analogy. We go off to sail for 9 months, and it's our job to conquer our journey and face any adversity that comes our way and to have a great journey until we get back home in March.
Yeah, the Big East has some great talent, and every night you're playing someone different, and every team has great players, so really it's fun to prepare for them and play against them, and that's just what makes the Big East so great, is every night you're playing someone who's really competitive, and every team's great, so it's been really fun playing.
You heard it from Kelly and Chanté right there. 17 straight NCAA tournament appearances. Can DePaul make it 18 consecutive appearances this season? We will find out. Now let's turn to the 2 newest faces the conference has to offer. First, let's take a look at Marquette's Megan Duffy. She comes from Miami of Ohio, where she spent 2 seasons leading the Red Hawks to 2 WNIT appearances. She just has a lot of experience in winning. And the fun thing with her is that this is a homecoming back to the Big East. Coach Duffy was an assistant with the Red Storm from 2009 to 2012. So fun for her to come back into the Big East as we turn to Xavier now with Melanie Moore, her first head coaching job at the Xavier Musketeers. She is coming from 7 seasons with Michigan. And in all of those 7 seasons, the Wolverines made it to the postseason. 3 NCAA tournament appearances, so a lot of postseason experience underneath her belt. And so it'll be exciting to see everything that she has to do at Xavier. Now let's take a turn to look at more of the players in our league as we look at other tournament, all conference tournament players to watch, and I turn to St. John's Tiana England. She is a redshirt junior guard, and she is just one of the Red Storm's 3 starters returning, and she paced the team in scoring last year in the conference with 12 points per game, and she's just a threat from deep also. She finished the season last year ranked in the top 20 nationally from 3-point range, and I think one of the standout games for Tiana last year was in February when the Red Storm did take down then the 8th-ranked Marquette Golden Eagles. She scored 20 points in that game, so she just had an incredible game. She had a lot of energy going behind her, and a home win for the Red Storm, which was really exciting then. As we now turn to Creighton's Jalen Agnew, another player on my list that I think is really interesting to watch. Last year, she did miss 4 games due to a tendon issue in her hand. She comes back this season totally healthy, and we expect her to lead the Blue Jays offense this year. She said when we were talking to her at Media Day, actually, that her team focuses on getting 1% better each day, and it's the mental side of things for her this year. She's a senior. She just really wants to focus on enjoying the game and also leading her Blue Jays to some Big East tournament play as well. Now let's go back to the head coaches that we had with John Fanta as he looked at the 2 newest head coaches in the league.
It's a new era for the Marquette Golden Eagles. Megan Duffy is their head coach. It's great to be previewing the season with her now. Coach, you've been on this job now a couple months and practices are about to get underway. What's the excitement level?
There's so much excitement, not only for myself being kind of the new kid on the block. It's been a great journey in these last 5 months or so, just getting to know the team. Obviously, Marquette has had so much success in the past, and it's been great to watch from afar, just the championships that were won. And now we kind of move to a new era where we want to keep that success going. We're going to have a lot of new faces that maybe some people haven't seen, a young group, and then really a chance for some of our other players to be in new roles and kind of watch them mature in that process as well.
When people are watching your team stylistically, what's the Megan Duffy way?
Yeah, I think we're going to be hopefully a great defensive team. We're going to rebound the ball well, and then, similar to what this team has been like in the past, we want to score. We want to play an exciting brand of basketball for our fans and really get out and, shoot threes and get to the rim and find ways to manufacture points. I think we're also going to celebrate those little things that maybe go unnoticed with the charges and the loose balls and all those plays that are going to hype people up. And I think that happens if you don't have, a perfect night shooting it from the field. You can still win games.
When you took this job and it was announced, the athletic director here, Bill Scholl, said Megan coaches for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. What are those reasons?
I've always been passionate. I think it goes back to me being a former player at Notre Dame and having success there under Muffet McGraw, playing professionally for a few years. I had some great coaches around me, and they invested in me 110%, and I think they're a huge reason why I got into coaching. And then it's always been my inspiration to give back to young women, whether that's on the practice court, whether that's off the court, whether that's just kind of hanging out at my house, whatever it is. I really just have that drive to have them understand how much of a privilege it is to be at a place like Marquette, but what their 4 years can be like and where they can go after that. So that's my drive every day. It's easy for me to get up in the morning and coach and teach, and I can't imagine doing anything else.
It's a new era of Xavier women's basketball, and it's great to be joined by their new head coach, Melanie Moore, who's been on the job for now about 6 months, Coach. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
With the season just around the corner, what are your takeaways from your first 6 months on the job?
Yep, so coming in, we just said we're going to get better every day and we're going to win. So we talked about winning every day. What does that look like? That could be getting an A on a paper. That could be getting an A on an exam. That could be winning each drill. So we compete. That's what we try to bring from summer workouts to now, is just compete in practice at a high level and have a consequence for losing. Just trying to teach them and have them buy into what winning looks like and feels like.
When you were interviewing for this job, what stood out about this program that led you to it?
The tradition. Xavier women's basketball has banners hanging in Cintas. It has 2 Elite Eights. It has tons of championships. And so for me, it's been done before. It has that tradition. It's just a gold mine waiting to be found again. The arena, it's one of the best in the Big East, one of the best in the country. And then Xavier University itself. Jesuit community, the campus, Cincinnati. It just, everything just kept stacking up of why not Xavier?
You come from winning in Ann Arbor, and you coached 11 all-conference honorees through the years, 3 NCAA tournament appearances. What goes into a winning identity?
Yep, I think it's a work. You have to work, and it's how you carry yourself every day. You have to hold yourself and the individuals around you to a high standard. And so it's a grind. It's getting after it. It's doing the little things, the details that lead up to big things in the end. So we're just trying to instill in the team every single day of leading, of kind of the brick laying. This is the first brick of the new staff, and what is this going to look like? And the kids have bought in from day one, and I just enjoy every day waking up, putting that X on my shirt and going to work with this group.
Who have some of those leaders been that have bought it?
It starts with your seniors. Anytime, every year you go, how your seniors go, and I can't say enough about T. Owens and Ashley Gomez. Those 2 have bought into the new staff. It's hard when you're a senior year, and for 3 years you've been coached under different people, recruited by different people, but they have bought in, and they bring it every day. The leadership, the talking, the competitiveness, they bring it every day, and then it's followed by the upperclassmen of 3 juniors, with Ari Gray leading the way. She was an all-conference player for us last year, a double-double, walking machine. So just holding her to a high standard too, because she can always get better. And you have Aaliyah Dunham and Deja Ross as well. So we have 5 upperclassmen that hold themselves to a high standard every day when they step on that court, and they hold the team to a high standard.
Melanie Moore, welcome to the Big East.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
So good to hear from Coach Moore about laying the brick, that foundation, as both her and Coach Duffy are laying the bricks at their new places. As we now turn to the Big East preseason Player of the Year, Seton Hall's Shadeen Samuels. She had an outstanding junior campaign where she just exceeded expectations in every statistical category that you could imagine. She was averaging just over 20 points a game in conference play. It was a huge jump from her average that she had her freshman season. It was about over an 11-point average that she had. She was just absolutely incredible. And we were able to actually catch up with her at Media Day. And if you missed it, check out the interview here. Welcome back to our Big East set, where we are joined with the Big East women's basketball preseason Player of the Year, Seton Hall's Shadeen Samuels. Shadeen, let's start here. Look at this outfit that you have going on. You've got the tie, a little velvet jacket.
Yeah, so being that it's my senior year, I thought I would come out, in Seton Hall blue and just represent.
And Player of the Year, Big East preseason. You had to show up a little bit.
I did, but I kind of planned to wear this before I even found out. So.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Shadeen, you went from averaging 4 points a game as a freshman, 7.5 points as a sophomore, and then over 20 points per game your junior season. Now you earn the Big East preseason Player of the Year. How is this the payoff of all of that work that you've put in?
It really means a lot. Like you said, I didn't have the best years, my first 2 years being here, but I knew getting in the gym and working really hard would get me where I wanted to be. But honestly, I want to thank my teammates and my coaching staff, because they've put a lot of time and effort helping me get to where I want to be, and the confidence that they have in me is just amazing.
Last year before one of your games, I was talking with Coach Bozella, who's over there taking a video of you right now to post it on the website, Twitter, all that stuff. But he told me one of the things he was most proud of in terms of you and what you've been able to do at Seton Hall was that you stuck it out. You only played 15 minutes a game your freshman year, but you stuck it out, you stayed on campus, you kept working, and now obviously the accolades speak for themselves. What was that process like for you early on in your career, feeling like you could play, but working through your time on the bench?
It was hard, like no one thinks that, no one wants to be on the bench, no one wants to not play, so it was hard, but I knew like if I just put in the time and effort and showed him, Coach B, what he wanted to see out of me, then I would get the results that I obviously got later on.
Shadeen, you mentioned the confidence that your teammates